Always on the May mornings, 1st of May, everyone out around the mountainside always got up really early and went out and wished everybody good luck. Whether there was anybody around them or not, they always wished the neighbours all around good luck. But if you went that morning, then you always went to any farmers or anybody that had cows or any kind of stock or anything, and you wished them all good luck. But if there was a churn there, you had to catch it and give it so many dashes of the dash or the turnover or whatever it was, for to wish them good luck, because if not, you took the luck of the butter with you.
You didn't churn on the 1st of May because the fairies would take the butter and the butter would never turn into butter. You could churn all day and it wouldn't turn into butter because to be the 1st of May and you didn't churn on the 1st of May.
On May mornings years ago, if people were, say, years ago in the country, you know, the neighbours come around to get a pint or 2 pints of milk, you know, just in a can, and that you're not supposed to sell any milk or of a May morning. There's unlucky. That your cows won't profit for the year and things like that.
And in our place above, never allowed the cows until the 1st day of May, and they had the little fire, and they had to drive the cows through the fire every May, and because then the fairies wouldn't milk the cows in the field.
Oh yeah, if a May morning now, if we went out and found eggs in your land, the eggs was what you would take your health. You ever heard that?
I didn't know of that.
Yeah. If we found eggs in the field.
Didn't everything we wish believe I?
No, so I know, but I just swear
Yes,
we heard it anywhere. The eggs was what the health, to take your health. Yeah.
They said you wouldn't marry in May, you drew the day. That's all I do. I don't know, like, if there's any, but that was a saying, like. If you got married, you would have no luck. Things wouldn't go right anyway.
That is, you don't take the paintbrush in your hand in May to do anything.
No, you never whitewashing.
May.
The 1st of May, isn't
yeah.
it?
From the 1st of May till the 1st of June. You don't whitewash in May, you whitewash all your luck away.
God, I don't know, I've seen people doing it. And then
I've seen that, and they
didn't make any
even
difference.
Think of that, but I know a woman, oh my God, and 5 years down the line, if something was to happen in that woman's house, she couldn't have better luck. I seen her whitewashing in May. She'd go back and she'd point back to that.
Yeah,
that, so she couldn't have it. I seen her whitewashing in May, and that would be her belief.
May morning, the girls used to go out and they get the dew off the grass and they wash their face with it. And they'd have lovely complexion for the following year. The whiter you wear that time, the better. Now you have to be all brown, but that time you had to be lovely and white.
If we had cordons now to walk in the morning, the Jews, to take them away, to walk in the morning, Jew early in the morning, for something from cordons. It was supposed to be a great cure to the Jew in the morning.
But people collected the first drop of rain and made the purse. There was a cure in that. The first drop of rain. Did you ever hear that? Yeah. We used to keep that in a bottle, which was a cure in it, yeah.
The reckon worts, the snails. You get the snails
That's
on
right.
the damp ground.
Yeah.
Put them across your...
That's right.
Lay them across your finger, let them wherever the warts are.
Yeah.
You know, when there's a dew out in the morning, like, pick the snail up then, because they're always out, the snails.
I heard that if you go into the church, the chapel, the graveyard in Adamstown, there's one of those vaults up there in the little graveyard, and if you had warts on you and bless yourself, the warts will disappear. I know what happened to my nephew, and his hand was covered in warts, and a Protestant friend of his went in, and he blessed himself with this, and they had no belief in it whatsoever. And the following Saturday night they were out somewhere, and your man said, "Where the fuck is their warts all gone?" And there they were, his hand was as clear as a bell. The warts was all gone. The man couldn't get over it.
I'll tell you a story about this. This is often told in my town's land where I lived, where I was bred, born and reared. There was a lovely well in a cemetery, in the bottom of the cemetery, the lower corner of a cemetery, and a foal died after being born, and this fella put the foal, threw the foal down in the well, And the well, when he came the next morning, the foal was in the well, but the well was dry, and it was at the far side of the river. The well, and it's still there. Whether that ever happened or not, I don't know, but I heard it so many times when I was young.
To wash your feet in the well, the spring well we call it, or a holy well, either of the two. That's what, that was making little of the well, to wash your feet in it. To rise up and maybe come up a mile or two further up the field. Yeah, to wash your feet in it. Yeah.
You can't boil holy water, it will not boil.
Yeah, I've often heard that.
But I never tried it.
No,
I don't know.
either, but I've
I
heard
never
it, yeah.
tried it. But it's not supposed to boil, it won't boil for you.
Or years ago, there was an old alder. There's two kind of alders.
Oh, if you hit someone
If
with
you,
an
if you
alder,
hit an
wouldn't go.
animal, yes, if you
Yeah.
hit an animal, you have bad luck, yeah. They made out that maybe our Lord was hit with an alder or something. And I don't know whether it was alder or not now. It was there was another particular type of tree.
Aye, alder,
yeah.
I always heard.
Yeah, maybe it was alder, yeah.
Poplar tree is supposed to be very unlucky. That is the tree that our Lord's cross was made out of. Poplar. It's supposed to be very, very heavy and very unlucky, and you wouldn't, if how possible, don't cut a poplar tree.
Now, there was another thing about a hawthorn bush.
That's right.
That you would never cut down a hawthorn bush if it was on its own.
And
My grandfather, in the three-corner field, this is a true story now, he went up to it was down from the fort, but this bush was on its own and he wanted to cut it down. And this little old woman came out from under the bush and she said, leave that there. So he didn't heed her anyway, and he cut down the bush. And in a week's time, a huge big thistle grew up where the bush was cut.
yeah.
And he went to dig it up, and the thistle hit him in the eye and blinded him.
God.
That's true.
Yeah.
And there's another thing, you don't put red and white flowers together. That's a superstition among nurses. And if there was red and white flowers brought in, they changed them.
If you've seen a red-haired woman first thing in the morning, you can go
yeah.
go home and go to bed.
That's right, yeah.
The Lord of mercy.
not flash-
Poor Mary Hall.
Mary
You know, Mary Hall, the Lord of mercy.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Poor Mary was as red as fire, wasn't she?
She was, definitely, yeah.
Oh, we wouldn't have a bit of luck for the day. Oh, go away. You needn't do anything today.
Red hair.
Mary Hall was the first
Yeah.
woman you met today.
Yes, yes,
Jesus,
that's right.
tonight, weren't they terrible fish oaks?
Oh, they were just...
Of course, there was a lot of them through.
And another thing is too, you know, say New Year's, you know, say after Christmas, New Year's Day.
New Year's Day.
There were some people that wouldn't want a woman going in first into the house.
Oh no, to be a black-haired
It would
man.
have to be a man.
And they wouldn't want a red-haired woman.
A red-haired woman. And if you met a red-haired woman or a red-haired man,
you'd
red-haired
turn-
woman, I think,
woman.
you'd have no luck.
You turn back from they'd turn back from the fair if they were going got
Yeah.
up at 6 o'clock in the morning and
Yeah.
they met a red-haired woman that
Yeah.
drive the kettle back.
That's right.
Around here, most people would say to you, you know, if you're going to move house, move on a Friday. Even if you just sleep there on the Friday night, and even if you have to move your furniture at another time, if you have everything else in another day, but really it's best to sleep your first night in a new house on a Friday.
I know a woman that was moving house on Saturday, it's only a couple of months ago, and I was down in Clondean, and she said, has Mrs. Kylie moved? And I said, she's moving on Saturday. Oh my God, she won't move on Saturday. And I said, why? If the day is fine, I said, that's all she wants. Oh God, no, Saturday I wouldn't move into a house for Saturday. Oh God, I thought, if the day was fine, I didn't. But she was serious about it, you know, she wasn't going to.
Oh, she had that belief.
She had that belief,
that was
yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Don't pay out on
pay
a
out
Monday.
on Monday, yeah.
Because if you pay out, that's, what did you say?
You'll be paying out for the rest
Yeah.
of the year, yeah.
That's,
Or be losing money.
oh, what Monday is it? Hansel Monday.
Yeah.
That's Hansel Monday. The first Monday of
right.
the year is Hansel Monday. And you don't pay anybody. Let them go to hell or high water, but you don't pay them anyway on Hansel Monday.
New Year's Day at home in our place, they wouldn't put the ashes out, you know, after the fire. Well, it was meant to be bad luck to put it out that day. I'm not sure for what reason, no, but just bad luck.
I don't think they swept the floor at all New Year's Day in case anyone had
throw out the dust or anything.
I don't know about that no more.
I don't think they used to sweep it because it used to be a cement floor or a
concrete floor. That's right.
I don't think they used to sweep it at all New Year's Day, as far as I know.
Yeah.
I went out living with 2 old uncles, came out from the town to the country, and they wouldn't allow you to sweep the floor or sweep out the dust or put out the ashes on a Monday. And that's true.
Mm-hmm. And there was another thing was if you sold a range and sold it with the ashes in it, the house that got it was very lucky, but the house that gave away the ashes wasn't.
That's the first time I never had that in Mary.
If you put a jumper or blouse or anything on inside out, you don't change it. You leave it on all day, because if you change it, like, your look is gone. That's for look.
Yeah.
If you put it on inside out, you leave it that way.
Oh, I often do still.
Yeah, but I wouldn't change it.
But I wouldn't change it unless I was going out anywhere, you know. But if I was staying in the house, I wouldn't change it.
Yeah.
I'd leave it in.
No, you'd leave it on.
Oh, I wouldn't change my clothes for no one. What I'd put on, I'd leave on.
Yeah.
Because I know it wouldn't be right. It'd be unlucky to change. But I'd be going out and I'd leave it on all day.
You would?
I would, yeah. Yeah, oh, definitely.
Of course I would. If you put your blouse or your cardigan back
to stay on. To stay on, she'd change her look.
Well, if you died and you were a very good living person, they'd say you won't be very long on the gear in the graveyard till someone come and take your place. But if you have a different make here, you could be there for 3 months, and people belong to you be supposed to leave a drink of water every week on the pier of the year to keep the thirst. Keep you from getting thirsty. Yeah.
We always opened the window when a person was dying to help the spirit, all right. Years ago. That's gone too.
Yeah. And the same on New Year's night.
The minute a person died.
The minute 12 o'clock would strike on a New Year's Eve, you went to the front door and you opened the door to let the new year in, and you walked straight to the back door then, and you opened the back door to let the old year out.
If you were walking towards the funeral, no matter whose funeral it was, you always had to stop and turn and at least walk 3 steps with it. And then, otherwise you'd never have any luck if you didn't walk at least 3 steps with the funeral. Total strange funeral. Even in a city like Cork City, in the centre of the city, you turn around in Parton Street and you go, I used to do it, you go at least 3 steps with the funeral and then you turn around and go about your business.
One of the things I didn't believe in was people coming back after death. And I happened to be going to the out farm one day, about around 12 o'clock in the day, and I saw this man in the yard, and I stopped and went into him. And while I was getting over the gate, he was gone. But I thought he was gone into his house. And I went to the house, a couple of the houses in the yard, and called his name, and he didn't appear. So I said to us all, the bloody cod. You know, the man was dead 6 or 8 months at the time. And when I went out, the daughter was with me. When I went out on the road again, the daughter said to me, Daddy, where's the man gone that was sitting on the stone there, rubbing the dog? And that's the time I firmly believed that he was there. I thought I was seeing things, but God, when she saw him, there must have been some truth in it, you know. So that's what happened.
Oh, my mother was afraid of her life of robin, now got to be good one.
Aye.
If a robin come into the house, she'd lose her life.
It was a bad sign,
Bad
was it?
sign, yeah. She had an awful fear of robin.
Aye.
No other bird, she wouldn't mind any other bird.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to have a death now. That's
yeah, you see, maybe
something would have happened.
Yeah, it was handed down.
A robin came in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if she hopped around the table, that was...
Yeah.
Yeah. She had an honest to God now, and I couldn't. She was afraid of her life for robin.
I don't like a bird inside. I do not. Nor tipping on the window.
No, well, I wouldn't mind tipping on the window, but if a bird comes in, it's some sign of a death or something. Not so much even that it may be a death, but something is going to happen, like, you know.
It's not all that long ago. I had a cousin visiting me, and the next thing was the robin came in, Well, they always came looking for a bit of food. I never took any notice of it. But she said, oh God, she says, so one of us is going to die. And not too long after the poor woman herself died. She died. Well, she was good. She was a good age. She was in her 80s. But I always thought of that. But still, I wouldn't believe that the poor Robert would be the cause of anyone's death.
And some people hated a frog coming into the house.
That's
Other
right,
people
the
hated
sign of rain too.
No, the sign of death.
Is it?
Yeah.
Or a robin?
Well, the robin, I don't know, but down our west was a frog.
A robin, up our way.
And another one was when my grandmother was very ill. She was 90-something, 91 too, when she died. And the cock crew in the door 3 times, in the kitchen door.
Yeah.
Did you hear that one?
I heard that one.
Yeah. I don't know, did you?
Bill Fulling got arrested, he was neighbour of mine. And he always said that a black dog came down the hill of Balloch every night at 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
So this man said one night, he says, the next time that bloody black dog comes down here, he says, I'll bust him. So remember the name of Aspert, I don't know what the name, first name. But anyway, he waited this gate.
Yeah.
And the black dog come down and he made a kick at the dog and his leg went up and stuck at the back of his shoulder here. And he went around on one leg for the rest of his life. That's supposed to be the truth now.
There was a parish priest in the mines one time. And the big estate at the far side of the mines, Kilnaboy, you know after the Kilnaboy. And so Father Cunningham was his name. And he was walking his dog. And the dog went in over the ditch and this old lord was inside. There was a gun. And he shot the dog. And he had to come to the priest after. All his stock died. And same as him. The priest would have had a look at him. Yeah. He shot his dog. The dog just went in over the ditch and he shot him. So he hadn't looked for it anywhere.
I heard that this man went out, he went out after rabbits. And he was out for a couple of hours. And he went around this field, but he couldn't get out of it. No way could he see where he went into it. And he went in the gate, but no way could he get out of it. And he sat down and he rested, and he said the dog started to keen he had with him. So he got up, he said, and his mother used to tell him, he used to hear stories at his own home place that if you change your coat, turn the hillside out, you go out of it. And he changed his coat and he was able to walk out of the field.
I heard tell of a fella being lost in a field all right, in a heavy fog. He could never get out of it. He had to wait till morning. He was walking around all night in it. Well now, the man that told that story maybe it wasn't true either. We don't know, you know.
I know a man that he was after hares, catching hares. And he was standing at this gate, and the next thing he felt like a hand on his shoulder. Yeah. And he said it definitely happened. But it was in a graveyard. It was.
Oh yeah. Some fella coming back, you want to have a talk to him.
And then he caught the hare, put the hare in the bag, and about 10 minutes after, there was no hare in the bag. He didn't find the hare at all. That's why he made it one.
Some of the boys.
Yeah.
They're coming up out of the grave.
Yeah.
And he was bagging them.
That was my father.
Oh yeah. Oh, that happened all right.
Well, Matt Nail now, Tom Roach, and were two great men with dogs after rabbits years ago, the lamp.
Yeah,
and they went into a row up here, that's where Rahing got his name, the Ra. And they went in up down to McMurphy's Ra, and all the old fellas said, what will you do now, don't go into the Ra.
Yeah.
They had two really good dogs, and they'll tell you that, they can tell you that still now. And they went into the Ra, and the Ra was full of rabbits. Yes. The dogs wouldn't follow the rabbits in the Ra.
Yeah.
And the next thing the two dogs started to shake and shiver, and they ran on the road, and the two dogs died about a week after.
Aye?
Yeah. And Matt will tell you that to this day now. So they wouldn't go near her anymore.
I have a story that my father told me now, that's going back a good many years ago. And where he lived in the Cool's Barn Town, there was a fairy rath. And there was always quite a lot of rotten timber all around it, like, you know, because there was a good few trees around it. And there was 2 women, and one of them had a baby about 6 months, and she had it in the old-fashioned prams that time. And they went up in the rath to pick up rotten sticks for lighting the fire in the morning. And the other woman said to her, "We shouldn't go up here, we're not supposed to go up here." She says, "To hell with it, it'll be all right. There's lovely sticks up here." So now she had a little boy, 6 months, in the pram. And they went she parked the pram over there, and they went over where there was a great big lot of rotten sticks, and they filled up 2 bags and brought them back. And when she went back, she got an awful fright. There was a little old withered man in the pram instead of the child. It was a real little old withered up man instead of the child. And the theory was that the fairies come and took the baby and put this other thing back there. Now, again, I'm not telling you that for truth. That was the story.
Well, if we take a stick to a fort, and if we got a pot and die of a thorn or anything like that, you could lose your eye. Yeah. You should never meddle with a fortress there.
No, they said you shouldn't.
No, never meddle with it. Although it is done. They should have bulldozing them now.
Yeah, and there used to always be underground from one fort to another.
That's right, yeah.
Do you ever hear of that?
And where you see 1 fort, you'll see 3.
You see 3.
Yeah.
If you believe it.
Yeah. When you go into a fort, you can count 3. 1, 2, 3. You stand in 1, you can count 2 more.
Yeah.
You'll see it from where you're standing.
'Twas easy to make fools out of us.
Yeah.
I tell a man that ploughed around one time though, and he had a real good pair of horses, a mare heavy and foal.
Yeah.
And the old man that he got the place from said to him, "What will you do now?" He says, "Don't touch that spot in the field." So young man said, "That's bullshit." So he went on anyway, and he said to the fellow working with him, "Plough down that bank there." I said, "The old fellow says there's something there." He said, "Well, right up to that, yeah." The man drove into it anyway, and the plough turned over, went through the horses' bellies, the mare would fall.
Yes, of course.
She had to be put down. The next day, the man that was doing the ploughing got, oh God, what did he get a few years ago? Not meningitis. Polio.
Yes.
And he was in a wheelchair for the rest of his life. The next time he went out, the place went to fire while he was trying to plough. And the next thing, the wife died. So he packed up completely, and that spot is there in that field still for anyone to see. For never to sense. That is a fact now.
I heard a story about down on the Kilmore Quay Road. The road had a very bad bend in it. You had to go around this tree, and seemingly the council decided to straighten the road, and they wanted to cut the tree down, and everyone objected to it. And the council workers came out, and every chainsaw that went to the tree went flying in bits, supposed to break. No one could cut the tree down, so the road went around the tree. It's still there, but the tree is gone. The tree rotted eventually and fell down. Now I don't know if that's true or not.
Did you ever see that, you know, when you're spreading the manure?
Yeah.
You'd find an old comb of that.
Yeah.
Some of the blokes wouldn't touch it. They say, "Don't touch that. That's the banshees."
Yeah.
There'd be teeth gone out of it, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it was or not, or somebody dropped it out of their pocket. But I've seen it a few times, and they said, "No, you're not touching that. Take up that, you could come back after you tonight, you know."
If we picked up a comb off of the road, the banshee would come knocking at the window at night time, looking, you should never pick up a comb. Now a knife. A knife is supposed to take your health. If we found a penknife, it was all the bad looking a knife. Yeah. But the comb, as you say, if we picked it up off the road, the banshee would come at a certain hour of the night and knock on the window for the comb.
For the comb.
And this woman one time, the banshee knocked, and she got the comb and she put it in the tongs, you know the tongs, and left it out to the window like that. And the tongs was cut in two.
And Jesus Patrick tell you lies.
Yeah, the tongs was cut. If she left it out with her hand, her arm was gone. She left the tongs, and the tongs was cut in two. I heard that anyway.
I heard that the boat was crying at her window one night.
Yeah.
And she was combing her hair, sitting on this window.
Big long hair
Big
down
long
to
hair.
her back, down her back.
And this fella couldn't listen right along, and if we'd hand out in the window, he'd grip the comb.
Yeah.
And she roared and she bawled for 4 or
Long
5
enough.
nights anyway, and someone made this man go to the priest to see what would he do.
Yeah.
So I went to the priest anyway, and the priest said, hand her back the comb, but hand her back with the fire tongs.
Yeah.
Because she'd naturally take the arm off you. So eventually he did, and she broke the tongs across in the middle. So he was lucky to escape with his arm.
She was savage.
Yeah,
Savage.
Yeah.
I heard a story about the bow one time. This fella, he's dead now, he's dead a good few years. He was a great old character. He said that the bow used to come every Friday night to his back window, and she'd bawl away there. And she'd be combing the long hair, he said. What he said, I opened the window this night, he said I was fed up with her. And I put out my hand quick, he says, to take the comb off her. And the 4 fingers, he said, bled for 3 days from the way she scratched his hand. So he said the nails must have been a foot long on her. Whether they were or not, I don't know, but he had that story. He believed in it, so I was young at the time, I had to believe in it too. Whether it ever happened or not, I don't know.